I've lost my wisdom. Hey guys, Kate Purtle here, welcome back to my channel. So I just want to share with you some wisdom that I've attained in the last 24 hours since losing my wisdom. And by wisdom, I mean this little critter. So yesterday I got my wisdom tooth pulled. So I just want to share with you the wisdom attained from losing my wisdom, if you know what I mean. So before yesterday I had been having this excruciating pain in the bottom back of my mouth, and I thought it was my wisdom tooth. So I tried a number of different things like saline washes, just salt and water. Went to the pharmacist and got antiseptic because it was so sore, and I was woken up 3 times each night with this excruciating pain. Woke up crying, it was so sore. And so yesterday I was gonna just write it out and just hope to someone that the pain went away, but it got to a point yesterday where I was in so much pain. I was, screw this, I'm calling a dentist. Got an appointment and went down there, and then I came home without my tooth. So I have a phobia of dentists. As soon as I walk in there, my whole body starts shaking and I am petrified of them. And it's only because of an experience that I had when I was younger. So when I was maybe 14, I think, I went to the dentist because I had to remove 4 teeth. I had too many teeth in my mouth. And so I had all these needles and then teeth pulled in a chair at the dentist. And it went okay. I hated the experience, but it was fine. And so then we were at the counter paying, or my mum was paying, and I was standing up and literally just went like straight back, like kapoo, and my head bounced on this wooden floor and I fainted. So I was unconscious, and I woke up on the floor with like 75 different people around me and an ambulance there because they thought that I'd cracked my skull. The noise was that loud. And so I ended up in hospital after having 4 teeth pulled, and the whole experience was just so horrible that ever since then I go to the dentist as little as possible, because the thought of walking in there and the smell of the place and all of the tools that they have just seriously petrifies the shit out of me. So I put off going to see the dentist about this tooth issue for too long, and it got to the point yesterday where I gotta go get this checked out. I think this is not good. So I went down there yesterday and he looked at it and you're 25 years old, this is just gonna keep happening, so we may as well just pull it out on the spot. Literally, I had to call my mum to come in because I could not do that by myself. I was so scared, my whole body was shaking, and then he gives me these needles and it goes numb, and then he gets these fucking pliers or something in my mouth to pull out the tooth, and it was such a horrible experience. And then the tooth root was so long, and at the bottom they were like conjoined, so he's like, all right, I'm gonna have to drill this. So he gets the drill out and he's drilling through my tooth, and then he's like, you're gonna hear a crack now, and heard the tooth crack right in your eardrum. He finally pulls out the tooth, but it was just the worst experience. I don't understand how people enjoy the dentist. I'm sure no one really enjoys it, let's be real. But anyway, I despise the whole process. But for anyone who's interested, once it was out, I'm gonna show you. I feel like people should probably fast forward this bit. But I was so intrigued about how big a tooth is. This was my tooth. My tooth is this long. It's like the same size as, it's like double the size of my index finger nail. the root canal, or the root was curved. That's why it was so hard to get out. It's only half of it because you have to drill it and crack it in half. I don't know why I'm giving you so many details about my tooth. I'm just so intrigued. Now that I can now that it's out of my mouth, it's curved. Bizarre. Lessons learnt from losing my wisdom. Lessons learnt from having a surgical procedure in a chair at the bloody dentist. Number one is life throws you curveballs. So Friday for me is normally check-in day. It's when all the girls check in. We discuss weight measurements, qualitative measures, things that impact upon our weight, how our week's gone, what we've improved on from last week, what we can improve on going into next week. And so yesterday I went to the dentist for what I thought was just going to be a checkup, and he was going to give me some antibiotics or something. Ended up being drugged up, having a numb face, and then being put on painkillers that had me super drowsy, and just I slept all of yesterday afternoon and all through the night except for 3:30 when I woke up and my painkillers had worn off and I had to go munch some more tablets. So yeah, yesterday was a complete write-off for me, and I couldn't do anything about it because I literally couldn't stay awake. So sometimes life throws you curveballs and you've just got to deal with it as best as you can. So if I'm going to relate this back to a weight loss process, because that's what we're talking about, sometimes things happen in your life and you can't do anything about it, and you just need to deal with it as best as you can. Now in this situation, I just had to share with my girls that I wasn't able to provide them with check-ins, and today I'm feeling a lot better and I've just done all of them. So on a weight loss journey, sometimes there's an event that comes up, sometimes there's something that happens in your life which causes you to fall off track for a little bit, sometimes there's, you know, an argument or something that happens which just causes you to go off track. There's always going to be speed bumps in the journey, there's always going to be things that impact upon our progress, but what's the most important is that when you can, you get back on track, and whatever the situation is, you just need to deal with it as best as you can, because life's never going to go exactly to plan as we want it to, and so all you've got to do is make sure that you can deal with the situation as best as you can. The second thing is yesterday and the day before and the day before, when I was in like excruciating pain. For anyone who's had their wisdom tooth out or had issues with their wisdom tooth in terms of pain, I'm sure you guys can relate in terms of the level of agony that actually happens inside your mouth and ends up being like the whole side of your face. I'm gonna liken it to childbirth just because I've never been through childbirth, but I'm sure if there's mothers watching, they'll tell me to get screwed because the pain threshold is a lot different. But it was so painful, and I think a lesson learnt from that, I like to be tough, I like to make sure that I'm, you know, okay across board, and I don't like to cry, and I don't necessarily like to show emotion all that much. But for the last 3 days I've cried at least twice a day, and letting that emotion out and just allowing yourself to release that emotion was actually just made me feel so much better. And I know that across, you know, the last couple of years with your weight loss process, you become so devoted and dedicated and committed to this process that sometimes if these curveballs do come across, then, you know, we get all this bottled up emotion. It's so common that we don't deal with the emotion. So it's okay to cry, it's okay to be emotional, it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to share your struggles. In fact, being vulnerable is actually proving that you're strong. It's not weak to be vulnerable, it's not weak to share emotions, and it's not weak to cry. I think it's actually necessary at the best of times. So the wisdom from the removal of my wisdom is that being emotional is okay. And I think the best thing to deal with emotions is, one, to talk it through, but the second thing is to journal it. Journal it all out and really deal with your emotions in written form, because that's a very powerful process to put it all on paper. The next one is facing your fears. So like I shared, I am petrified of going to the dentist. I can't even put into words, I don't think I have enough adjectives in this brain of mine to describe how petrified of the dentist and everything associated with it I am. Like, someone in your mouth with tools and you can hear it. I just, oh my God. So when he said, I had a feeling deep down that he was gonna say, I'm gonna have to remove this tooth. But, you know, the process of that through my mind was just something that I couldn't even comprehend, because I'm so petrified of everything to do with tooth removal. But removing the tooth meant that I'm no longer gonna have, or, you know, be susceptible to the agony or the pain that could, according to the dentist, definitely occur, because the tooth is gonna come up and down over the next couple of years. So it's either deal with the tooth pain once and get it removed, or, you know, have the pain come back a number of times in the next couple of years. So the fear of getting my tooth removed was massive, was indescribably large, and I was crying, and oh my God, I'm like almost crying thinking about it. But what's on the other side of that fear was getting it removed. Yes, I've got a few days of a swollen face and having to munch on painkillers because it's still a little bit sore, and having to smush all my food up. But what's on the other side of that fear is, you know, no more pain after the next few days. So with a weight loss journey, so many things that people are scared of. They're scared of entering a gym. They're scared of, you know, doing weights or entering the weights room, or they're scared of the whole process because they base it on their past failures or the stories that they've created in their head. But just like on the other side of this dentist experience, the other side of fear is where the magic happens. With your weight loss, whatever you're scared of, I can guarantee that it's just a story that you've created in your head, and once you face that fear, on the other side of that is something amazing. So if you're scared of going to the gym, find a friend who knows what they're doing and take them with you, or, you know, ask at the gym, or get yourself a personal trainer, or whatever it might be. Just face your fear, because the longer you spend being fearful of that, the more stories in your head you're going to start creating, and the longer you're fearful of the journey, the further you're going to push yourself away from being able to attain the life that you want. So face your fears and, you know, just make it happen, because like I said, what's on the other side of that fear is magic. It's a place that you don't even know exists because you haven't been there yet. So face that fear. The last lesson I've learnt from losing my wisdom is to put things in perspective. I was such a sook yesterday afternoon, and that's because I don't get sick often. I don't, you know, have things like this happen hardly ever. And so when they do, I become a bit of a sook. And something that Mum said to me this morning, which is so true. I was really sad about everything, and I was like, oh, I couldn't do the check-ins on time, and I couldn't do this, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, well, that's fine. You can do them this morning. And I did. And, you know, you don't have a terminal illness, you're strong, you're fit, you're healthy. In the scheme of life, it's really not that bad. A couple of days of a little bit of pain, it's okay. And I think it's fine to actually be a sook when you need to, like cry and allow yourself to feel the emotion, but always put things into perspective. One little tooth removal in the scheme of my life is really not that big of a deal. And again, relating it back to weight loss, I think a lot of people put so much pressure on themselves about week to week in terms of getting results or not getting the results. And what's actually important is to put that 1 week into the perspective of your whole life, and knowing that when you're on a weight loss journey, it's not necessarily about the week to week progress. That's important because those small things add up to something massive, but what's important is to be able to take a step back, to look at the bigger picture and know that that 1 week is just one small part of a whole new lifestyle of living healthily and yeah, we really need to be able to put things into perspective, because we are so lucky and privileged and grateful in the countries, wherever you're watching from, that we live in. We've got a roof over our head, we've got running water, we've got the internet. We're very lucky. We can buy the things that we want, we can do the things that we want to do. And so I think with everything, we need to be able to be grateful and appreciative for what we have, and know that the hard times don't last, but tough people do. So getting over a little speed bump in your life is always going to be something that you're going to have to face. And yeah, just knowing that you can put things into perspective and step back and look at the bigger picture of life, opposed to the small daily or weekly things that we go through. So those are the wisdoms that I gained when I've lost my wisdom. I hope that helped in some variety. Just trying to create lessons learnt from all of the experiences that I go through. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like my video if you do like it, because it really supports my channel. Chuck a comment down if you have a similar wisdom tooth experience, or if you have any suggestions for future videos. And please subscribe, because there is a video like this going out every single day, hopefully. Health and good vibes. Kate, out.